Good morning, my name is Fernanda Silva. I am one of the tutors at Parkland Middle School, and I am making this video to explain one of the concepts that you will be learning throughout your algebra courses, which is the factoring of quadratics with difference of squares. And I'm going to go ahead and explain and give examples on how to solve them, as well as what it basically is. So to start off with, I went ahead and provided a picture of the formula, and the formula is going to be a squared minus b squared, and it's going to be the same thing as a plus b times a minus b. In this first example, we have y squared minus 25. So our first step would be to identify our a's and b's. So by doing that, we're going to have to find the square root of y squared and 25. So y squared, the square root of y squared is going to be equal to y, and the square root of 25 is equal to 5. So we're going to choose y as our a and 5 as our b. Now that we have both our a's and y's, we're just going to go ahead and plug them into the formula. So our formula is a plus b times a minus b. So now we have y plus 5 times y minus 5. And it's going to always be plus and minus, because that's what, when you multiply, that's what makes the difference, giving you a number at the end. Now that we have our equation, we're going to go ahead and check our answer by using the distributive property. So we're going to begin with distributing the y plus 5 into the y minus 5, giving us y squared minus 5y plus 5y minus 25. So when you combine your like terms, you want to combine the negative 5y plus 5y, giving you a total of 0. So you're left with y squared minus 25, which is the same as what you started with. On a second example, we have 121 minus b squared. So right here, to solve it, you would do the same process as the last one, which is you find your a's by square rooting both the variable and the number. And then you go ahead and plug in a and b onto your equation and use the distributive property to check your equation. And as you can see, it comes out as 121 minus b squared, which is the same value that you started with. Now I will go ahead and explain another example with a coefficient in front of the variable and the process that you would do in order to solve that equation. So for this example, you will go ahead and you begin by finding the common factor between the number in front of the variable and the second number. So in this case, it's 45 and 125. So the common factor between these two numbers is 5. So you take out the 5 from the equation, and it rewrites the equation into 5 times 9x squared minus 25. Then you continue to look for both your a and your b, which is the same process that you did in the previous equations. So in this case, the square root of 9x squared gives you 3x, and that's your a, and then square root of 25 would give you 5, and that's your b, and you go ahead and plug it into the equation a plus b times a minus b with your common factor 5 on the outside of the parentheses. Finally, you go ahead and check your equation by distributing the 3x plus 5 into the 3x minus 5, which gives you the 9x squared minus 15x plus 15x minus 25. You cancel both of the like terms because it's a negative and a positive. Then you continue on by distributing your common factor last, which ends up giving you the 45x squared minus 125, which is the same equation you started with. So to conclude this factoring of quadratic equations with difference of squares, you just basically square root both of the numbers and the variable. You go ahead and determine your a and b values, and you plug them into the equation. A plus b is times a minus b. And then you can always work backwards using the distributive property to check if your answer is correct. So just don't forget, find the square root and work backwards. And to answer the questions that we have all asked our math teachers, such as why do I need to learn this, or when am I ever going to use this in real life, algebra takes a lot of remembering of formulas, as well as following specific steps you need to take in order to solve an equation or a problem. And this is going to continue to be applied into your life, as well as when you come across a problem that are only solved through specific steps and coming to the final results without taking any shortcuts. Understanding the importance of each of These steps in algebra will also help you with the next math sections you will need to take, such as calculus, where there is a lot of steps, and of course factoring will be a common term used.